Kevin, good to see you.
Hi, Jamie. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. Take a seat. Before we start talking about your Manchester City career, I just want to show you a little VT. Have a look.
Kevin De Bruyne. What are we saying? King. King Kev.
Easily one of the toughest opponents I've played against. He could do anything with a football.
Kevin is a special player, has special qualities. He's a special player in this era as well, the way he played, the numbers that he produced, the passes, the creativity.
He made the Premier League better. He made if City is where he is and Man United hasn't won many trophies in this period, it's also because of Kevin De Bruyne.
I think he's been one of the best players the Premier League has seen.
He just sees things that no one else does, and that's his gift in the game.
He's a bit quiet, he talks in the pitch, he's very competitive, and he has a way to play that is not very common in our days. The normal thing about him is 1-2 assists every game, or 2 or 3 big chances created. That's why he's so important for us.
I never play with a player that can execute that precisely at high speed. He can be running at 33, 34 kilometers an hour and play the ball 30 meters through 2 people to the perfect spot. I haven't seen anybody else do that at that pace.
What a career he's had at Man City, one of the Premier League's greatest ever midfielders.
It was a pleasure to watch him so close. It was a pleasure to play against him.
His technique, his power, the way he ran with the ball, the way he could change a game. His numbers in the Premier League speak for himself. And it's a pleasure to obviously have played against him and to say that I've played against Kevin.
Yeah, I think the league is going to miss him.
I want to tell him congratulations for your career. He done a phenomenal job in the city, and I think he was great for the league, and I really wish him the best.
It was always a difficult task to play against him and having him as opponent. So that's a good thing that he's not playing for City anymore next year.
I wish him all the best in whatever he does, but certainly if it's not the Premier League next season, thank goodness.
Kevin is an amazing player, everybody knows, and it's insane, you know, the passes, we find each other, I go on the run and he finds me. When this feels natural, nothing's better.
What a player, absolutely incredible player for the Premier League, for Manchester City, one of the very best that we've seen.
I mean, what a player, what a man. He is sometimes, you know, when you see a guy that has for me, the genius status, don't try to understand what he's doing, just enjoy him.
He absolutely is one of the best midfield players I've had. Fortunately for me, an incredible top talent, of course, is one of them. Maybe he's the most direct, clever in terms of an assist and the forward vision. And of course, he's one of the best.
He's the full package, and I think for the Premier League to have witnessed him, I can say that I've played against him. And yeah, it's been an honour to play against him, and I wish him well, obviously, in his next chapter.
You have era-defining players, and I think he's definitely one of them.
Nice, right? It's not even about me, and I'm emotional watching that. How does that make you feel?
Proud, because yeah, most of them are competitors, and you know, I think when competitors are speaking in that way, you know, they respect you. Sometimes they don't like you because you play for another team, but you know, some of them I know. But yeah, it makes me reflect a bit of how good it went in these 10 years I've been, and yeah, it's been nothing but amazing, to be honest.
Genius, king, era-defining talent. That's pretty cool, right? You know, considering you come to Manchester City, over 400 games, over 100 goals, over 100, I think 170 assists. I mean, could it have gone any better?
It always can get better, but it can get much worse also, yeah. You know. I take the good things and the bad things together. You know, you can't have either of them by itself. This is, I think, how a career goes, how life goes, and you know, we've done a lot of really special things. So, like I said, it's been absolutely amazing. Yeah, and I'm just proud of that.
13 major trophies. What would you say? I'm looking at the pictures here. You've got Champions League there, obviously the Premier League title on the left. What's been your favourite moment, or is it something completely different?
But I think it just changes over time, because winning your first Premier League is really important. But I would say sometimes, you know, winning the Premier League like against Aston Villa, with so much emotion in the game, it brings more out of you, out of that moment. But then it's the same with the Champions League, not having 1-1 at the time and then winning that, you know, after, you know, getting the hamstring injury also. So, you know, a lot of emotions at the time. So it changes over time. So it's difficult to choose between them.
You obviously had a short spell in the Premier League at Chelsea, then went to Germany and then came back. Did you feel at the time you just had to, you had unfinished business in the Premier League, you wanted to come back, and you obviously, the project at Manchester City was a perfect place for you?
Well, you know, I had some options at the time, and you know, City were pulling by far the most. You know, they were already speaking to me, I think March time the year before. And Cheeky was really important at that, and also Vinny was calling me multiple times in the summer. And I don't know, you know, then I made a decision because I felt it was the right time. My wife from now was pregnant at the time, so we thought if we move now, it's good, you know, we can settle down a bit. And now we're here 10 years later, and it was by far the best choice I could have made.
And Pellegrini as well was the manager at the time, which as I'm looking through stats, and because so much has happened in your career, I thought, well, I didn't realise that he was the one that obviously brought you to this club. So I guess you owe quite a bit to him as well.
Yeah, of course. But I came in and he gave me directly, you know, the opportunities, the playing time. He had confidence in me. And even the first year was a bit tricky in a way. For me, it was personally really good year, you know, because I came and I was directly in a role with my playing, so gave me a lot of confidence for the next years.
And I remember we were in this studio, I can't remember, it must be, time flies, 5 years ago, and we were talking about your goals and assists, and you said to me that you prefer to assist a goal than actually score a goal. I mean, that blew my mind, and that's still the case now?
It's still the case. I love scoring goals, it's really important, but I would just say assist is just, it's my probably one of the biggest attributes in my playing style. It's not the assist, it's just creating chances, you know, creating opportunities for my teammates to get a goal or create dangerous situations where, you know, I can put wingers 1v1 or I can put the striker deep. You know, I'm a midfielder, I have to do a lot of things, but I think I was good at that.
I've had the privilege of talking about and watching your games and talking about it after. And I can honestly say that, and obviously on that bit of coverage there, I've never seen anyone pass the ball like you. And the ability to just dissect a defence with a pass that is just so, what I would call a bravery in a different type of way. Because some people have bravery where they go into 50-50 tackles, others it's receiving it under pressure. Yours has been taking risks and making important moments. I think back to that Aston Villa one when the team was struggling, I think 2-0 down at half-time, and your crosses into the box completely changed the complexion. You know, it ruined Liverpool's day, and I was a Liverpool fan on the occasion, but I still had to admire everything you did on that occasion, and that's something that has really struck me, how brave you are in taking risks with your passing.
I think now with everything that's happening with social media and all this stuff, you know, you can play a brilliant game sometimes, and you give one bad pass, or, you know, something funny happens, you know, that's gonna get picked out on social media and put online, and it's something I don't really care about, but I think it's something that I'm afraid of that's getting a bit out of the game now, because, you know, people are scared to do really bad stuff because you get mocked all the time.
To take a risk.
But I don't care, you know, I play football, I try to do what I think is the best for my team, and I'm gonna make mistakes, and I think having that mindset helped me always, you know, that everything is possible. Sometimes it's not, but I'm gonna try, and you know, I pull it off sometimes, but most of the times you make mistakes. But I'm okay with that.
In terms of all your teammates, and you played with some very, very good ones, who's been your favourite? Who's been the one that has complimented you the most?
I would say one of them is probably Raheem Sterling.
I saw it the other day, you picked your best 11 and he made it.
Yeah, he was so good. I think what makes Raz and me so complementary together, he's a willing runner. He runs deep. Every player that runs deep with me helps me out so much more because he gives me options to play in the space. And I think Raheem understand also that, you know, with me, if I have the ball and he runs deep, I will try to get him the ball, you know. And then I think, you know, that's with wingers and strikers, when, you know, they make a lot of runs and they don't get the ball, they stop doing it. And there was like 3 or 4 years where we were all playing together. I would say it was like Walks, me and Raheem, and it just worked really well, you know, that triangle. So I would say complementary, that was for me really strong trio together.
In terms of managers, obviously you mentioned Pellegrini gave you your first opportunity, but I think with yourself and Pep, and you've had so many great years, are you easy to coach, would you say, or have you got a clear understanding of what you feel you need to do, or has there been a massive influence as well from coaches?
No, there's been a massive influence, because he sets up the team, you know, in a way that he thinks that the team can perform the best way. But I would say I was probably one of the few guys who also got freedom, because I think he also understands that I play on intuition, creativity. So sometimes I need the freedom also to do a bit what I think is good at that particular time, because in football, you know, other teams analyze you also, so sometimes you need to do something else. And he gave me that freedom with the ball sometimes, so, you know, I was maybe a bit lucky in that respect.
I always feel there's certain players, I would call you an unassuming superstar without trying to embarrass you when I say this, and you've done most of your talking on the pitch. But if I were to ask you where you'd rank yourself in the top attacking midfield players in Premier League history, where would you put yourself?
Honestly, I don't care. You know, I think when I'm playing and when I'm on the pitch, I want to beat you. I want to be the best. But, you know, after that, it's for me so difficult to put numbers on it, because everybody has a different opinion. I think when you're up there with all the other big players.
And who would you categorise that? So obviously Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes.
Yeah, you know, there's like
David Silva,
Yaya, you have Roy Keane, Vieira. But there's so many players. There's also players I've not seen, so I can't judge that. And I think football is very different. You know, it's a different way of playing, different eras. You know, people defend differently, so it's just so different. So in the end, you know, you'll have maybe somebody else if you are supportive of another team. But I think when people appreciate it, that's fine, and I'm happy with that. But numbers, like, you know, I'm not really worried about it.
What about playing against? Was there ever a player? I can't imagine there would have been too many for you, but anyone that really made it difficult for you, or you go into this game thinking, right, I've got to get the better of this one today. He's going to give me a real problem.
You know, in the Premier League, there was probably, well, I have to say, most difficult. I would say Kante, Fabinho was really strong at this time. You know, with Henderson and Milner. You know, because they cover so much space and they're so aggressive. But I would say probably these two stood out. They're probably the most difficult, you know, in the way that they played.
Yeah.
And also because they're different countries, is small, but he covers so much space, and he's a bit tricky, you know. If people are more defensive midfielders, are more bulky, they're more slower, you know, it's different. But Kante's speed, his agility, so he's a very different player to play against.
Yeah. What about your favourite goal?
Probably say Madrid away. The semis, or I would say maybe Arsenal at home when we won 4-1 the first one.
Yep.
Just
it was a night game, wasn't it? I remember it.
Yeah, it is just the importance, I think, from either game, either goal. You know, we had to win against Arsenal for the title, and you know, I know in the end we won 4-0 at home against Madrid, but you know, to go away there with the draw in Madrid. You know, I felt like a big thing.
Big moment. A favourite assist? There's been plenty of those as well. What about your first one? I want to take you back to your first one. I remember doing it. It was like you've dissected a defence. I think it might have been Raheem Sterling. No.
Kun Aguero.
Yeah, I think it might have been Aguero.
Probably in Newcastle, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. I think most important Villa title decider.
Back post.
Yeah. Just. You know, I think it sums me up a bit, the way that I play. I was very aggressive on the ball. You know, I came from really far, and I don't know, just pure on intuition. It's not the training drill, it's just what I thought at the time, and you know, it was a big moment for us.
Kevin, I want to talk to you a bit more if you don't mind, but we've got some important business. You've got to unveil this mural. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Have you seen it yet?
I've seen it on picture, I've not seen it live. So
okay, great. Well, I'm looking forward to it.
It'll be pretty cool.
Right, let's go.
When you look at that video that we looked at there, there's not many players where I'm sure everyone said, yeah, I'll talk about Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah, of course I will, no problem, whatever you want. He's a great player, and everyone has that respect for you, not just as a player, but also as a person. I think you must be proud of that as well.
Yeah, but it does, you know, I will compete with anybody on the pitch, you know, to do, like, I want to be better than you. But once that is over, it's, you know, kind of different for me. I know it's maybe, you know, like when you were playing, it was more different, you know, when you play for another team, you know, maybe Chelsea, when you were or Liverpool, you know, that you cannot have any
friends
yeah. from
it
other team, but
now.
it feels
it's very better now in a way like that.
It feels different. I don't feel like I need to have any
sort of rivalry.
Yeah, or bad feelings towards anybody else because they try to beat you. I can be, of course you're not friends with a lot of people, but I can be friend and try to beat you at the same time. Yeah. I don't feel like there's any.
So you're a bit of like a silent assassin, and that's what you are. You're a nice assassin.
Well, nice. On the pitch, I wouldn't say I'm nice, but.
Oh, you got a side. I've seen it.
Yeah, but that's just being.
Everyone.
That's just being
great. All the great players do.
Competitive.
Exactly.
Everybody wants to be competitive. That's, you know.
Yeah.
For me, how it should be.
And what about the fans? What's your message to the fans? Because they're obviously taking you to their heart very quickly, and rightly so. You know, we're going to miss that old Kevin De Bruyne song. Yeah. What would be your message? Will you say anything after the game against Bournemouth? That would be your last home game.
I think probably there will be something. It's not something that I really look forward to because
But you said, "Let me speak." I've heard you before. This is your chance to speak, Kevin.
Finally. No, but I don't know. I think everybody knows that how much I appreciate it because I think since the beginning they've been really good to me. You know, I never felt that. You know, sometimes you can have like this little friction between players and fans, but I've never been in that camp. I've always been probably like the most likable for them. So for me, it's been great. You know, I don't know. I can say thank you for the support, but I don't know exactly how to put into words. You know, because I've been here so long, so there's a lot of emotions involved with it.
Who's been your favourite teammate, as in not as a player, but as your best friend that you spent in that period?
There's actually, I would say, there's a lot of players where I've actually see quite a lot. So if I have to say at this moment, I'm a lot with John, Nathan, Manu, Kova, Jack. Walks was there all the time.
Away from Jack.
So it's actually.
I can't imagine you and Jack together, to be honest.
No, I think we actually have a really good relationship.
No, I love him. He's great.
He's so good. He's probably one of the nicest guys that I know as a football player. You know, because you know sometimes football players.
And he loves football.
He loves football. Sometimes football players have a bit of a mean streak. So I don't feel like he has a mean streak. So there's actually so many players, and before was Raz and Walks when he was here. So you know, it's like I know all the kids when they were born. You know, my kids played with their kids, so it's
yeah. Oh yeah, I can see it. There's a nice array of trophies as well there, mate.
Yeah, I can't complain.
That's cool, right?
That's really cool, you know. Now you see sometimes how much you've done with the team and achieved, you know, all these trophies. Painting is actually really nice, really detailed.
Why was it 17?
I think at the time I had 2 numbers, and I'm not a number 9, so I felt like I'm just gonna take 17.
Yeah.
Now it's actually cool, you know. 17 is with me in City, and I think it just, you know, it works together, and it's what it is.
So when you mentioned earlier on about Vincent as well, ringing you up, like doing almost like a tapping up job.
Yeah.
You know, you must be thankful as well, because some of the moments that you've shared, when you think back to Vincent when he scored that incredible goal, where do you want your statue, Vincent? That was a great life from Gary Neville.
Nah, it is great. And actually, he called me a couple of weeks ago, you know, to say how proud he was, you know, as a Belgium and City, you know, that I should enjoy this, you know, this moment, and don't really think about any bad things, just enjoy the moment, and, you know, make sure you just think about positives and all that stuff. So, you know, he's quite smart, so...
No, he is good.
And
is that, there is that to it though, because it's very easy in times like this maybe to go, oh, you know, could have maybe stayed for longer or whatever. But when you look at this, it must make you think that, wow, what I've achieved at this football club, you know, as I come here as a young man, you know, don't worry about, you know, what could have been, worry about how good it was. That's what I would say.
Well, I think, like you said, you think about the positives. Of course, there's negatives in every life moment, whatever, but, you know, like I said, like, if you see this and see all the things that has been done with the team, and I've seen also the way that the team has grown since when I came here 10 years ago, then now, you know, in pre-seasons, you know, you go to, in the beginning it was a bit mild, but now you go everywhere and everybody follows City, you know, and I think it's because of, you know, the way that we play, the success we had, and you generate new supporters, you know, for future generations. So it's actually like cool to see how many people actually follow us, and, you know, they cannot see us all the time, so in pre-season it's nice. You know, the amount of parades and trophies won and amazing moments that you had, you know, with a lot of different people, you know, that's why I probably is a bit emotional, you know, doing all this stuff, but it creeps in a bit now, reflecting on how good it went. But I guess you know, later on you'll probably enjoy it a bit more.
It's been an absolute joy watching you, and the way you conducted yourself, some of your passes, and the joy you brought to not just Manchester City fans, every single football fan. So that's a big thank you. So well done, and you deserve all of this, and undoubtedly an amazing reception as well on Tuesday and even next weekend. So thank you, Kevin. Really good to see you. Congratulations.
Thank you.